Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from jennycarddesigns. Thanks so much for joining me today. My YouTube channel contains content that is intended to share paper crafting tutorials and inspiration with all of you. I hope that you enjoy. I've got a really cute card project to share with you today. I had recorded this video footage somewhere around Christmas time, and I was creating Christmas cards, and I had never shared this video or this card project with all of you. So I thought I would do that today. I feel like this Gina Designs Perfect Poinsettia stamp set could be used for many other occasions other than Christmas. And although I do make a Christmas card out of this card project, you could incorporate my idea into any sort of card, birthday, thinking of you, thank you, things like that. As well as the flowers in this stamp set, you could stamp them in a rainbow of colors to create a different look and stretch your supplies farther. Alright, so let's get into today's video. I've got a piece of cardstock here. This is Gina Classic Crest Solar White, 110 pound. I wanted a nice sturdy cardstock for my stamping today. I'm going to be stamping on a rubber stamping mat. This is so that I can get good solid stamped impressions. And I'm going to be using an acrylic block, and I'm going to pull off this leafy branch from that stamp set. And I'm going to stamp this in 3 different colors. I'm going to stamp with Gina Designs Apple Mint ink, and I'll stamp 3 of those little sprigs. And then I'm going to stamp with Gina Designs Sea Glass ink, and I'll stamp that 3 times. And then finally, I'll stamp with Gina Designs Grass Green ink. And I'm going to stamp that 4 times, only because one of them is too close and I only want 3 images. But anyways, I'm going to use the coordinating die to this little leafy sprig, and I'm going to get all of these pieces cut out. And then I'm also going to use a circle die. This is from one of my Gina Designs master layout sets. I'm not sure which one. I'll have it linked in the description down below. But basically, I need this circle to create a guide. I want to create a wreath with all of these beautiful leafy sprigs, and I need the circle to help keep me in a circle. So I'm just using some tape runner, and I'm lining up the images. I'm going to start with 3 images of the same color so that I can get them evenly spaced around my circle. So once I have the first 3 sort of lined up to kind of where I want them, then I can move along to the next ones and get those lined up. And it takes a little bit of practice. I do move things around quite a bit until I have them right where I want them, because I want all of the branches to be sort of going in the same direction. So I don't want it to look like too perfectly symmetrical, but I do want it to look like, you know, a nice wreath. And I'm really happy with the result. I love the way this turned out. I love the soft color palette. It's really pretty. So I've got a bunch of foam squares that I'm going to adhere to the back of this circle, and when I apply my foam squares, I'm kind of overlapping that circle just in case I didn't get enough sticky tape when I was placing them down. I wasn't too heavy with my adhesive, so I wanted to make sure that nothing fell apart. So I used lots of foam squares here to give it good even raised dimension and to make sure that it's all going to stay stuck. And I'm just kind of placing out where I want my wreath to go, and I'm going to grab that stamp set and figure out which sentiment that I want. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do Merry Christmas or if I wanted to have it in the center of the wreath. I just wasn't sure. So I finally figured that I was going to go with the Merry Christmas and put it below my wreath. I'm going to get this stamp sort of placed where I want it to be. Once I've finalized my decision, I'm going to grab my Misty stamping tool, and I've got a 5x7 card base here. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. This is Gina Classic Crest Solar White card base. I'm going to load this into my Misty and get that stamp placed where I want it. And then I'm going to pick it up with the door of the Misty, and I'm going to use some anti-static powder. Because I'm going to heat emboss, this little powder bag is going to make sure that I don't get embossing powder where I don't want it on my card. So I'm going to use some Gina Designs Fine Detail Gold embossing powder. And I have this little fan brush that I can use to sweep away any excess powder or even that excess embossing powder bag. Sometimes it leaves like a white dust. So I'm going to go ahead and ink my stamp up with Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink. And I'm going to close the door of my MISTI and press. And I'm just using my little glass paperweight. This is my peacock press, something I just made out of a glass paperweight. Once I get my image stamped well, I'm going to sprinkle my gold embossing powder over a scratch piece of paper and just dump it on top of my stamped image. And then that Versamark sticky ink is going to catch the embossing powder. And I'll just use my little fan brush to tap off the excess, making sure I don't have any loose powder bits wherever I don't want them, because I don't want to melt it to the front of my card base. And because I'm not layering up the front of this panel, I'm going to be heat embossing directly on my card base, which I don't normally do, but I thought it would be okay for this particular card. I'm going to make sure that my heat gun is heated up very well. And I'm going to bring it to the paper, but I'm not going to hold it for too long because I'm trying to avoid as much warping as possible. And then I'm also moving it around, heating from the front to the back, from the front to the back, just to kind of like keep the shape of my card base because I don't want it all curled up. And it worked out well. I was happy with the result. So now I'm going to peel off all of those little stickies off the back of my wreath and get that popped up on the front of my card. There we go. This card is very elegant and clean looking. This is why I feel like it could have been a thank you card or birthday card or thinking of you, something like that. I feel like the look of this card doesn't say Christmas. So that's why I wanted to share it with you all. So I've got some really cute gold baubles and I'm just going to adhere those around my wreath, and I'm making sure that I'm not making anything uniform. I want it to be loose and organic. I don't want it to look like, you know, a specific pattern all the way around. So I'm just using all different sizes of those gold baubles, and I'll adhere them down with some liquid glue, using my jewel picker to pick up the gem and then drop it down on top of the glue, and then we're all set. And that's it. This card project is complete. Here's a close-up look at our finished card project. I feel like this is such a simple yet elegant card. I really enjoyed the result, and I hope that you do too. Alright, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I appreciate the support as always. Any of the products I've shared with you in today's video will be linked in the description box down below. Coming up on screen are a couple of videos I think you may enjoy. Thanks again for joining me. Have yourself a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!